Hello, you, and welcome to my dueling shop where I sell all kinds of cards. I sell decks, and I sell card sleeves and deck boxes. Well, why have you come in here today? You're new to the dueling. You're new to duel monsters. Okay. You're new to the card game. Okay. Well, since you're a beginner, I can recommend you a couple of decks that I have. Starter decks. I have 2 boxes, 2 starter decks, and maybe they will be a good fit for you. The first one I have is Yugi's structure deck, the main deck that Yugi uses. It has all the cards in here. Let me see. On the back, it tells you all the monsters that you get. It tells you all the spell cards and trap cards that you get, and all the extra cards that you can get. The extra cards are mostly fusion monsters and stuff like that, and sometimes they can be helpful in situations that you might need to get out of. But yeah, this is the first deck that I'm gonna show you. Yes, Yuigoh Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, structure deck. Yugi's says Yugimoto, so this is his deck. So let me show you the cards that are inside, but first, I like the sounds of this box. Okay, so let me show you the cards that are in here. Okay. I don't know if it's in order. No. I was messing with these cards sometime. It's still brand new cards. Still got this new card smell, the firmness and the strength of the cards. Over time, these cards can get like worn out of color, rips, tears, and stuff like that. I have some cards that are like that, but some of my cards, they're in good condition. I've been collecting these cards for over years of my childhood. So let's see. The first monster is obnoxious Celtic Guardian. Yugi always used this card. Not the obnoxious one, but the normal Celtic Guardian. And the structure deck, let me see. Says this structure deck contains inside. The structure deck includes 40 common cards, 2 ultra rare cards, 3 super rare cards, 1 beginner's guide, and 1 double-sided deluxe game mat. I don't have the game mat. I don't know what happened to it. I don't have the rule book either. But these cards. This is a structure deck to help you out, to build you a better deck along the way whenever you get more cards. So let's see, it's 40 cards. So that means it would be 20 monster cards. It'd be 10 spell cards and 10 trap cards. That would be 40. 10, 10, 20, 20, 20, 40. This is a great beginner deck. It has the Alpha, Beta, Gamma Electromagnet Warrior in here. And Yugi would always use those cards. Let me see if I can find them. And Karibo, I found Karibo. I found another Karibo. I took out some cards that monster cards. If you watch the series, which you probably have, you might recognize these cards. And first card is Gazelle, the king of a mystical beast. There he goes. And he has 1500 attack and 1200 defense, which is not bad. The second one is Obnoxious Celtic Guardian, even though there is a normal one. But this one has an effect. It says, cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster that has 1900 or more attack. So say for example, your opponent has Blue Eyes and you attack this card. It can't be destroyed because Blue Eyes has 3000. It has to be destroyed by a monster that has 1800 or 17 or 1600. But yeah, that's a pretty good card to have on the field. See, the second card you might recognize is Buster Blader. He's a pretty good card, and his effect is, I think he gains 200 attack for each dragon monster card in your opponent's graveyard. Oh no, he gains 500 attack, sorry. He gains 500 attack for each dragon type monster in the opponent's graveyard. Let's see, control, so either on the field or on the graveyard. So yeah, this card is real good for going against dragon deck type people who have dragon type decks. Next card is a Dark Magician Girl, and her effect is she gains 300 attack for each Dark Magician card in the graveyard. It says gains 300 attack. This card gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in either player's graveyard. So it gains 300 attack. That's not a bad card. Gain attack. Here goes Yugi's main monster, Dark Magician. Everybody knows him. This is a newly updated Dark Magician. I wish I had the older versions because those are rarer and they're worth more than the newer versions. Yugi's other monsters, I have Gamma the Magnet Warrior? Let's see. Alpha the Magnet Warrior. So they're nothing but magnets, and Beta the Magnet Warrior. And these cards can be fused together. All three of them can, or just two of them, to make a really powerful monster. I got Reborn. I don't know, this is a different Karibo. It's not Karibo, it's Reborn. Like Monster Reborn. Let's see, let me read the effect. It says, at the at the end of the battle phase, you can discard this card and target one monster in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle and sent there this turn. Special summon it. When an opponent monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard that target any number of Karibo monsters in your graveyard. Special summon them. Man, this card is pretty good. Say, for example, your opponent has blue eyes, or you have a blue eyes and your opponent destroys it. You could basically discard this card to the graveyard and bring back the blue eyes. And then it says, when the opponent monster declares an attack, you can banish this card and bring back a Karibo. And if you played Yuigoh before, you should know Karibo's effect is when your opponent monster attacks you, you could discard this card and the damage you take is 0. And so, yeah, it says it right here. Here goes Karibo, the normal one. It says, during your opponent's turn, a damage calculation, you can discard this card. You take no battle damage from that battle. This is a quick effect. So yeah, some pretty interesting monster cards in here. Let's see. I found some spell and trap cards that are interesting as well. Let's see, Magic Cylinder. Like I said, if you played the game before, Yu-Gi-Oh card game, you know what this does. But basically, when your opponent monster declares an attack, you can activate this card, and that attack damage is dealt to the opponent. So your opponent's monster's attack is dealt to your opponent. Basically, it says when opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's attack. So yeah, that's a pretty useful card. The next card I have is for fusions. Some fusion cards, you don't have to use polymerization. You could just fuse the monsters right there if you have them. But some do require this card, polymerization. It says fusion. Summon one fusion monster from your extra deck. Using a monsters from your hand or field as fusion summons. So you can use this card to make other powerful monster cards. The next card I have is Defusion. You can use this for like attack. Say your opponent attacks your fusion monster, you can use Defusion and separate the monster. Get back your other monsters. Basically, it says target one fusion monster on the field. Return that target to the extra deck. Then, if the fusion materials that were used as fusion summon are in your graveyard, you can special summon all of them. So, basically, a good way to avoid an attack and come up with a plan to destroy your opponent's monster. Let's see, another good card that's been used throughout the series. I forgot what episode it was. It's called Swords of Revealing Light. This card is very good. It's not a quick effect card, it's a regular spell card. And what it does is you can activate this card, and for 3 turns your opponent cannot attack you. After your 3rd turn, you basically put this card in the graveyard. It's a pretty good card for coming up with plans on how to destroy your opponent, or destroy your opponent's monster, or get rid of some cards from his field. Another spell card is Mystic Box. Basically, it says target one monster your opponent controls, and then target and one monster you control destroy the first target then give control of the second target to your opponent. So basically, you can use this to strategize. You could get your opponent a weak monster and destroy his strongest monster, basically. Dark Magic Curtain. I think this one is you pay half your life points and you can special summon a Dark Magician or a Buster Blader. It says pay half your life points, special summon one Dark Magician from your deck. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card that you can set. So you could pay half life points and special summon Dark Magician, but you can't summon no other monsters. Let's see, the third card, Dark Magic Attack. You need Dark Magician for this one. Basically what it does is when you have a Dark Magician on the field, you could target all your opponent's spell and trap cards that are on the field and destroy them, basically like Harpy's Feather Duster, or it's a better version of Giant Trunade and Harpy's Feather Duster, because I know Harpy's Feather Duster is banned, but this one you actually need Dark Magician to use it. You just can't activate it and then destroy your opponent's spell and trap cards. You need Dark Magician. As Harpy Feather Duster, you just play it and that's it. That's why it's banned. This card you all should be familiar with. Mirror Force. You know what Mirror Force does. Whenever your opponent, the monster, declares an attack, you can negate the attack and destroy all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls. Let's see. Oh no. Yeah. It says when an opponent monster declares an attack, destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. But if your opponent controls monsters in a defense position, they won't be destroyed because it says only attack position monsters. And I think that does it for this deck. So you've seen the cards that are used in this deck, and like some of the monsters, some of the spells and traps. Would you like to buy it? Okay, I'll put the cards in here and I'll put it to the side for you to buy. Okay, the second deck I have is structure deck. I got Seto Kaiba structure deck. This is he has the legendary Blue Eyes White Dragon in this deck. He has other cards in this deck. I want to just listen to the sounds. Get the cards out. Let me pull out some monsters. only pulled some cards out. I didn't pull a lot, only the ones that people would know. Now, I think you would recognize these cards. Have you ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh before? The episode where Bandit Keith, I forgot who he goes against. I think he goes against either Kaiba, I don't think so. Either Pegasus or somebody, I forgot who he goes against, but these three cards are iconic. The X, Y, and Z cards, the Z Metal Tank, the X Head Cannon, and the Y Dragon Head. These cards can be fused together to form the monster. I have them right here. XYZ Dragon Cannon. This card is overpowered. I mean, this card is not overpowered, but it's a pretty good card. Let's see. It says X Head Cannon, Y Dragon Head, and Z Metal Tank must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. You do not have to use paralyzation. So you see, like I said, some cards you don't have to use paralyzation. You can banish them. It says cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. You can discard one card, then target one card your opponent controls, destroy that target. But this is an iconic card. XYZ Dragon Cannon has 2800 attack and 2000 defense. They should have gave him better defense, I think. Another card I got is a trap card, Fiendish Chain. Basically, if your opponent monster has an effect and he activates the monster's effect, you could activate this card to target that card, and that your opponent's monster who has the effect cannot use the effect. This is a pretty good card. Another iconic card I have is Call of the Haunted. Basically, you can bring a monster back from the graveyard. Any monster. You don't have to sacrifice or anything. You can bring any monster from the graveyard back to your side of the field in attack position only. Can't be defense. I got this card. It's called Negate Attack. So basically, when your opponent monster declares an attack, you can activate this card, negate the attack, and end the battle phase immediately. So yeah, this card is pretty good to get out of some situations. Another card, Enemy Controller. It says activate. It has two effects. It says activate one of these effects. It says target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Change that target to battle position. Change that target's battle position. So if it would be defense, it'll go to attack, or if it'll be attack, it'll go to defense. And then another one says, and that'll be used for avoiding attacks. The first one. Second one says tribute one monster, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of that target until the end phase. So basically, when you in your turn, you give the control of that monster from your opponent's side of the field back to your opponent. It's a pretty good card for avoiding attacks. Let's see. The Flute of Summoning Dragon. Let's see. It's a spell card. You gotta use it with Lord of D. Special summon up to 2 dragon type monsters from your hand. It says Lord of D must be on the field to activate and to resolve this this effect. So you can't just put it down and use it. You gotta have Lord of D to use this card. And I got Burst Stream of Destruction. This one you can't just put down and use. This one you can only activate when you have blue eyes on the field. And basically what it does is basically like Dark Hole, except you destroy your opponent's monsters. No matter if they're in defense or face down or face up. You destroy your opponent's monsters, but then you can attack the turn you activate this card. So it's a pretty useful card, but you need blue eyes in order to activate this card. It's called Burst Stream of Destruction. Let's see another card. I never heard of this one. It's called Majesty with Eyes of Blue. Let's see, send one blue eyes monster from your hand or deck in the graveyard. Then target one face-up monster on the field. It cannot attack while it is face up on the field. You can only activate one Majesty with Eyes of Blue per turn. So I guess for avoiding attacks, it could be used for. I got Luster Dragons, pretty good card, level 4. It has 1900 attack and 1600 defense. Pretty good defense and pretty good attack. Overall, pretty good card for level 4. I got P10, the Dark Clown. His effect, spellcaster effect. When this card is sent to your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon one P10, the Dark Clown from your hand or deck. I don't know. I don't really like the effect of this card. I got Enraged Battle Ox. Basically, when it says he has an effect, if a beast warrior or winged beast type monster you control attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So basically, piercing battle damage is when a monster is in defense position and your monster attacks it, you still deal damage to your opponent if it says inflict piercing battle damage only though. So if it says inflict piercing battle damage and defense position, you inflict damage to your opponent's life points. Usually when the monster is in defense position and you attack it, your opponent takes no damage. But if it says inflict pierce battle damage, then yes, you can inflict life points damage to your opponent's life points. Anyways, here's Lord of D, and his spellcaster effect is dragon type monsters on the field cannot be targeted by card effects. So he's a good card. And I got Blue Eyes White Dragon himself, 3000 attack and 2500 defense. Sorry, the AC turned on. I tried to finish this video. But would you like to buy this deck? You would? Okay, I'm gonna put it in here. So those two decks, I'll give them to you for $20. Oh, you buy them? Okay. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for checking out the cards, the starter decks, and come back anytime if you need other cards. I have specific cards that you probably want, but for now, go have fun and try out these decks.